Hi, and welcome back to Musicians Edition Practice with me for alto saxophone. I'm your teacher, Risa, and today we're working in the Standard of Excellence Book 3. We're on page 15 today, looking at Earle of Oxford's Marche, Part 2, and then we're going to be looking at the exercises on the bottom. We didn't look at those ones last time, so we will today. Okay, so first off, Earle of Oxford's Marche is a band arrangement, and so more than likely you're playing this as a concert piece. Okay? Luckily for us saxophones, nothing is really too challenging with this piece, and especially for part 2, okay? So things we're gonna really watch out for then are dynamics, and make sure we watch our articulations, and just have that energy that helps to drive the piece. Okay, so first off, as you can see, we're resting for the first 4 measures, so I'm not going to have us practice that. You know how to do that. Okay, looking at our key signature, what do we have? We got 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp, okay? Take a moment to see if we have any accidentals written in though. Take a real quick look. I see a couple. But those couples are all the same note. They're all going to be G sharps here and there. Okay, so just mindful of it. We know that it's coming up, okay? Take a look at our time signature. What do we have? 4/4, keeping it simple. Nice. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to start at 5. We're going to play to the end with repeats, as hopefully you saw there were repeats when you were scanning. All right, let's go ahead and give this a go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. So excellent job. As you can see, our piece really isn't that difficult. A few things we just need to watch for. So let's talk about them, okay? And I think we can tackle it all in one go. So first, let's talk about our dynamics, okay? Because there are some dynamic movements here. So at 5, we're starting off nice and soft, okay? At 9, we're going to get a little bit louder, but not all the way to forte. We're just mezzo piano still. So little bit louder. Okay, 13, mezzo forte, getting louder. 17, getting louder. And then right before 25, back to mezzo piano, okay? And then right before 29, fortissimo, loud and proud, okay? Make sure you circle that in. You're gonna wanna make sure that you're loud here, okay? This is an important part. All right, so that takes care of our dynamics. If you circle everything in, I think you'll get it, and just kind of pay attention to your director here. All right, next thing we need to talk about is certain rhythms here, okay? So the challenging part sometimes is determining who's playing the top part, what part is your part on the bottom, okay? So like at 5, we have just quarter, 8, 8, quarter, quarter, okay? That dotted eighth going into 16th, that's part 1. You don't have to worry about that, okay? But in measure 7, we do have that dotted eighth going into the 16th, okay? So 1, 2, and 3, a 4, okay? So you might need to mark that in or write your counts in for that part right there. 1, 2, and 3, a 4, okay? And then everything else is pretty well simple. I think the hardest part might be measure 26. Okay, we end up with a little bit of syncopation there. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and up. Okay, that's where it throws a lot of people off, because that first eighth note lands on the beat, lands on 3. That means our quarter note is going to land on the and, hold for 4, and then we're ending on 2/16, so it's going to be and up. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and up. You might need to mark that in, but once you get that, you're good, okay? Backing it up to 25, just so you know who's playing what, where we have the eighth going into the double 16th, that is part 1. You're only playing the quarter note, so quarter, quarter, 8, 8, quarter. Okay, and then take a look at the second to last measure, okay? That rhythm there can also throw you off a little bit, because we have, once again, the 1, 2, 3 as the eighth, which means we come back on and 4, and 4, and, okay? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. A little bit of syncopation work right there. So just write those in if you need to. Just really pay attention to those counts, okay? I think that covers pretty well our harder rhythms, okay? We do have a repeat there at end of 32. Where does that repeat take us to? Takes us all the way back to 13, not the beginning, but 13. We do have first and second ending, okay? Then once again, just pay attention to where you're tonguing and where you're slurring, okay? Because we do have a couple slurs, not too many, all right? And if you're confused about that G sharp, just take a moment to think of what that G sharp is. G. Just putting that pinky down, all right? All right, I think we're ready to tackle this one more time with all the things we mentioned. Just make sure you circle those things in and practice them. All right, beginning to end with repeats and with dynamics and everything we talked about. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. right, excellent job. One thing I forgot to mention too, when you're playing with the band, that last measure, more than likely your director is going to slow down because we have that retardando, breathe, then we're going to play that last note. There's the fermata, so watch for the cutoff. All right, now we've got that out of the way. Just practice that a little bit, not too difficult.
This lesson is brought to you by the Musician's Edition practice book. Make goals and keep track of progress throughout the whole year. When you're done with this video lesson, don't forget to mark this practice time in your Musician's Edition practice book. Now back to the video.
All right, let's move on to exercise 59. This song is your song, okay? Has no title, arranger, your name, okay? So let's take a look at this here that says, create Foxborden by writing a duet part a sixth below this Renaissance melody. Title your composition and play the top part while a friend plays the bottom part. So that means a sixth below. What does that mean? All right, I know we've talked a little bit about intervals in this channel. I don't remember if we've talked about it through our saxophone series. So intervals is what they're pretty well talking about for sixth, okay? So intervals is the note spaces, basically. So if you have, say, a G, and your next note is the same G, that is a unison, okay? If you have G and A, that's an interval of two. They're two notes apart. If you have a G and then a B, that is a third, so on and so forth. So basically you want to count all your notes up to a six, or vice versa, because this says six below, you want to go downwards, okay? So go ahead and kind of create your parts here, and you can change your rhythms up here as well. They chose six because six sound pretty good together, okay? Threes usually sound pretty good too. I mean, that's even major or minor. But we'll get to that kind of a little bit later. So for now, you can just write in a fun little piece. And to be honest, that feels a little capping to me. So what you can do too is try to just come up with a part you think will be good for the bottom part. And then use this video to come back to it and see how it is and then redefine it. Okay, really craft what you have in your head to match what's on paper. All right, so either way, you could do the sixth or you can write in what you think will work best. I'll give you a moment to write in your music, and then you can either pause the video to still work on it, or you can continue on and we can play together. And you know what, I might as well write a little something too. Then you can play the top part. Okay. So if you're still writing your piece in, just pause the video and then continue on. If you're ready to play, let's play. I'm going to play the top part. You're going to play the part you wrote. Okay, ready? It's in 3. Please take note, we have B flat. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, excellent job. How'd it sound? Let me know in the comments. And it's okay if it didn't come out the way you thought. Maybe you had something that was not as well sounding. Try making it to where it sounds good. Go back and repeat that part so you can see what it sounds like after you've made your changes. All right, Now I'm going to play mine, and I wrote my second to last measure, not really knowing what it would sound like with those contrasts. So let's give it a try. You play the top, I'm going to play the bottom. Let's see how well this sounds. 1, 2, 3. All right, excellent. Hopefully that sounded all right. Maybe it had some wonkiness to it. Maybe it's not what I had in my head. That's okay. That's the beauty of being creative. And some people even write things with weird tensions and weird sounding things. Once again, that's the beauty of being creative. There's not technically a right or a wrong answer. All right, let's go on to number 60, go for excellence, okay? So here in this one, we're gonna have slurs and staccatos here, okay? And then on those last two measures, it says simile. And I think we've talked about this before. If not, here's a reminder. Simile means that this is going to be written in a simpler form. As you can see, it no longer has our slurs and staccatos marked in, but it wants us to play just like that. That's why it's simile, similar, okay? That's the tie to it. We have a repeat at the end, so we are going to repeat as well. All right, so let's go ahead and give this a try. Take note of our key signature has changed. Okay, ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. That's a nice one to just kind of practice to and maybe use as a warm-up even before some of your main pieces or your main practice. All right, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know down in the comments. While you're down there, don't forget to hit like, notify, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our practices. Thanks for joining, and until next time.